Monica, à toi.
Merci. So, good afternoon, everyone. Before we start, and before I forget, some of you asked about an updated list for speakers list for the general debate, right? So I asked our colleagues at the GACM, and I hear the good news is that it will be circulated tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll receive it from us through the Anchor correspondence list, yeah? Through Melanie. I have two notes for you. The President of the General Assembly has arrived in Salt Lake City to speak at the Civil Society Conference. Ms. María Fernanda Espinosa started the day by talking to the Youth Caucus on climate action and youth empowerment. The PJ said empowering young people is one of her top priorities, as global challenges cannot be addressed without the ideas, creativity, and sheer determination of young people. Mrs. Espinosa shared her conviction that multilateralism can benefit from an intergenerational dialogue. And as PG, she has been inviting young people to participate and contribute at all events of the General Assembly, including high-level events. The GA president also highlighted her efforts on youth, peace and security, which is one of the 7 priorities during the current session of the GA. Mrs. Espinosa emphasized the urgency to address climate change and noted the benefits to accrue from taking climate action. Now, climate-smart development, for example, could generate as much as $26 trillion in the next decade. The transition to sustainable sources of energy could result in a net gain of over 11 million jobs. The PJ praised the commitment on banning single-use plastics included in the Youth Declaration to be agreed at the conference in Salt Lake City. And she mentioned her global campaign against plastic pollution. She said that young people have power, individually and collectively, as activists, citizens, and consumers to help change behavior patterns. The 68th Civil Society Conference gathers over 4,000 people from over 130 countries in the U.S. state of Utah. Mrs. Espinosa also paid a visit to the LDS Charities Humanitarian Center, and later today, she will hold separate bilateral meetings with the mayor of Salt Lake City and the state legislators. The PJ is also taking part in a press conference and granting interviews before coming back to New York tomorrow. And the Office of the President of the General Assembly will launch a social media campaign starting on 4th September to promote collective action for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The SDG Acceleration Hub will help to promote the SDG Summit, which will take place, as you know, in the afternoon of the 24th September here in New York. In a letter to member states, Mrs. Espinosa said that the campaign will also further encourage engagement and participation, and also the need for global solutions to address global challenges, as we said before. The initiative will share quotes from heads of state and government expressing their views on the importance of the event, as well as previewing any voluntary acceleration commitments or initiatives in their respective countries. The social media cards will also be cross-promoted on the UN Global Goals Twitter account. And this is everything from us today. Do you have anything else? No? Okay, so I'll see you. You do? Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Oscar. How are you today?
Thank you, Monica. Just to follow up the questions with Stefan about the eco-crisis in the Amazon region. And the PGA, she comes from that region, and she's been advocate from many different organizations in situations in the region with indigenous and wildlife and this. So in this regards, what is the PGA position when the president of Brazil refused to get an aid to save the wildlife in the Amazon?
Okay, yes. I just heard Evelyn saying, overheard, she's Brazilian. Yes, yes, this is true. And because, although I'm not here representing Brazil, as you know, as a UN staff member, we represent 193 countries, but I do have the luck to read the Portuguese-speaking media in Brazil. And from some points that you said right now, what I can say is that they are from the Brazilian press conflicting reports, so back and forwards in regard with receiving any help. For instance, just this morning I read that one of the G7 member states, or the G7 members, offered some aid that was accepted. So I'm going to leave it there for the Brazilians for you to check with the Brazilians, the Brazilian mission, or the Brazilian government. I'm now going to focus on the PGA's position. That's what I am here for. So the PGA welcomed the announcements of contributions. I think she was the first person to speak about it. She spoke about it last week while she was still traveling. That we have to save the Amazon, that we have to protect the Amazon. The Amazon has a crucial role in not only tackling climate change, as we all know here, but also to conserving biodiversity, ensuring or fostering food security. You're right, she is a specialist in the issue. She worked there several years professionally in the Amazon, and she knows the region very well. She knows the people, because this is a crisis that is affecting people. And as we know, in Brazil, in Bolivia. So her message right now is that we need to work together. There is, as you know as well, an organization that unites all 8 countries which share the Amazonian territory. So her message is that this organization can inspire, initiatives and a new drive in working together in order to address this crisis, which is extremely important for all of us here and for the entire world. Mm-hmm. But in regard with the statements that you made with the Brazilian response, I would rather refer you to the Brazilian mission, okay? So I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you.